The Harivamśa Purana, Chapter 15, Onward to Mathura. At the crack of dawn, a chariot sped out of the gates of Mathura, carrying the Prince Akrura in it, heading towards the direction of Vrindavana. Akrura did not stop, not even to rest the horses. He commanded the charioteer to get to the village of Vrindavana at apt speed, to ensure that he does not lose even a moment of time. He reached the village of Vrindavana in record time, and he reached the house of the chieftain Nanda, and he rapped and knocked on his door. When Nanda opened the door, he recognized Akrura instantly, and the two princes hugged each other with a fraternal bond, despite the fact that they were not related. Nanda entertained his guest with delicious sweets, freshly picked fruits, and hand-pressed juices, and engaged in small talk with his guest, and Akrura, not wanting to sound desperate, allowed himself to be entertained in this manner. Finally, the reason for his arrival was inquired by the chief of the village. O mighty lord of Vrindavan, the cruel tyrant of Mathura has set his eyes on slaughtering your child, the blue-hued, dark-skinned one they call Krishna. The chieftain gasped in horror as he held his palm close to his mouth. "What are you saying?" asked the chief of the village, and Akrura nodded. "Yes, I'm afraid it is true. Kamsa has his eyes set on your child, and alas, when that wretched tyrant desires something, one may suppose that he has already acquired it," said Akrura. "We must find a way to save the boy. I will hide him and smuggle him out of Vrindavana this very instant," suggested Nanda. Krishna, along with Balarama, were churning butter in the opposite room and heard the conversation. Akrura shook his head in derision. "Do you really think you can hide him from the wrath of the tyrant? He wants Krishna's death, and he will come with an army and slaughter all the milkmaids and cowherds here in this village if we were to do something silly," said Akrura. Just then, Krishna approached the room where the chieftain was speaking. Akrura turned his head to Krishna and Balarama and said, "Dear Krishna, your mother, your true birth mother, is Devaki. Come, let me tell you the secret of your birth." Krishna held out his palm and said, "Prince Akrura, I am well aware of the secret of my birth, having concocted the plan myself. Please, tell me how my mother fares," asked Krishna calmly. Akrura was taken aback. He had not expected Krishna to behave in this manner. There was no curiosity, no surprise, no reaction. It was as though Krishna knew everything about his birth, Devaki and Vasudeva. "Dear child of Vasudeva, your mother has grown thin and weary without your presence. Not a day has gone by without her lamenting her loss of you as a loved one. She is under house arrest by the tyrant of Mathura. Your father, too, laments his fate as he is unable to protect his offspring. The greatest pain for a parent is to witness the death of their own child, and both your parents have had the misfortune of losing 6 children at the hands of the cruel Kamsa," said Akrura, while Krishna sported a somber look. Despite the sincerity of his look and his burrowed forehead, Krishna still sported a small smirk. "Having sent all his prime soldiers, ogres, and witches, the cruel tyrant now wishes to slaughter you himself. He has invited you, O mighty one, to a festival of bows and weapons. In this festival there will be a wrestling match, where he hopes to best you and murder you, making it look like an accident," said Akrura. "This is his plan, O incarnate of Mahavishnu. Now it is up to you to flee. Your father recommends there is no glory for the warrior to flee in terror. Death is far better than cowardice, Akrura, interrupted Krishna. Despite his age of 12, Krishna spoke like a seasoned warrior. Akrura merely folded his palms together and bowed. I will come with my brother Balarama, and we will spar with Kamsa in the wrestling match. Let us leave at first light in the morning, commanded Krishna. Krishna, chastised his foster mother Yashoda, you are not going anywhere, especially not to a deranged tyrant, yelled Yashoda. Krishna smiled calmly. Dear mother, by staying here, Kamsa will send an army of men to slaughter you and the rest of the villagers. Sparring against an army requires considerable effort than against the tyrant himself, advised Krishna. Do remember, mother, the people of Mathura are under the influence of a tyrant. Their lives are miserable. Have I not proven myself against all his ogres and witches? I assure you, mother, I will prove myself once more, assured Krishna. Yashoda reluctantly acquiesced, which left both Krishna and Balarama beaming. Do not let your guard down once you reach Mathura. The evil King Kamsa will leave traps and attempt to murder you well before the wrestling match begins. Akrura warned them as both Krishna and Balarama nodded slowly to his counsel. The two boys hardly slept that night as they began wondering what lies in store for them in Mathura. When day broke, Akrura, along with a whole host of villagers and cowherds, were ready and waiting for the young lads of 11 years. A special carriage had been sent all the way from Mathura that evening, and the charioteer got down and welcomed Krishna and Balarama on behalf of King Kamsa. Both the boys with Akrura entered the carriage. The journey to Mathura was long and uneventful as both the boys busied themselves looking out the small window of the carriage. The sky was crimson red when they arrived on the outskirts of the city of Mathura. Akrura performed the ablutions to the sun god Savitar just as the sun was setting, and the two children, Krishna and Balarama, began to get acquainted with the formalities of city life. The city of Mathura was fabulously decorated, and for the first time the two brothers saw a completely different world to the village of Vrindavan, which was surrounded by lush trees and woods. Mathura, however, was a bustling city with hundreds of men, children, and civilians rushing hither and thither as the day was about to conclude. The children, along with Akrura, made their way to the palace, and special rooms had been prepared for the participants of the wrestling ceremony. Each participant got his own room in the royal palace, and when Akrura came to the room designated for Krishna and Balarama, he inspected the room with arduous sincerity, making sure there were no booby traps or poisoned needles sticking out of pillows or anything that might harm the two residents. Food was prepared for the night and left off the table, and Akrura insisted on tasting the food for poisons. No, dear prince, I am convinced that Kamsa will not wish to murder me with poisoned food. Leave your worries aside and sleep peacefully tonight. You have done a wonderful job caring for us, said Krishna when Akrura approached the dining table. Akrura bowed and reluctantly acquiesced to Krishna's demands and left the candlelit room with a heaving sigh. The boys ate a scrumptious meal and quickly hopped off to bed. If Krishna is the God incarnate, why not smuggle him to another city, just like they did when they moved him from Gokula to Vrindavana? They could have easily moved the whole village to another location, could they not, dear Rajaguru? asked the king Janamejaya. To what purpose, your majesty? This will only delay the inevitable, said the Rajaguru. Well, if Lord Krishna gets stronger by the day, perhaps more time the Lord could have slaughtered King Kamsa as soon as he was born. But he chose not to do so, to destroy a whole host of demons and give a leela or play to the citizens of Vrindavan. Believe me, my king, the Lord has no need for time to strengthen himself, said the Rajaguru, and the king Janamejaya nodded. Well, what happens in Mathura? Asked the king Janamejaya. That will be revealed in the next episode of the Harivamśa, said the Rajaguru, as the king Janamejaya sighed.